Sorry guys, like if my audio cut out, Bandicam is sort of a fidgety software if you ask me. But anyways, spread angle. I was on spread angle. Yeah. What spread angle does is basically how much your angle spreads around. Like if I set it to 60 degrees, it'll go 60 degrees there and there. If I set it to 0 and then 60 degrees, those 60 degrees only one direction. There's the 360, 360. It's gonna go in every single direction. You can also do this with a 180, and if I put this, yeah, kind of nice if you ask me. Anyways, now let's go into the emitter shape. Shape of the emitter. Pretty self-explanatory. Let me just set this to like this. No drag. There we go. Shape emitter. Basically, the shape. This only works in a part. It doesn't work in an attachment. So if I set this to a part, and I open the Ross particle emitter, this is the box right now. It's the entire part. Now cylinder. As you can see, it's emitting all over a cylinder. If I yeah, all over cylinder, you can make a shape partial. I don't know what that means, but it basically does this, makes the cylinder a bit more expansive, if you ask me. But yeah, there's also in out, and this is just like, well, pretty self-explanatory if you ask me. It goes inward, outward, etc., etc. Let me just set this to outward. Volume, surface, whatever you think about it, it's just that. I'm too lazy to say whatever that thing is because I don't understand it because I have a small brain. Disc. Now, disc is basically a circle emitter. It's unlike cylinder. It's better on a circular surface, on a round surface. A shape, whatever you want to do, it will go different directions if you do the same shape. Inward will go there, outward will go there. I'm just gonna keep it as outward. Shape partial, same thing. Just this is just more expanded. If I do this, and yeah, if I do like 0.5 or something, it'll go just half the shape. And oh, it also forms a disc. If I set this to like 5. Yeah, there's the disc inside of it. It's pretty nice. If I set this to volume, I just, yeah, there. Oh yeah, now I get it. Now my brain gets it. So basically, surface is at the surface of what particle, what direction your emission is, and then the volume is basically the entire particle emitter, the entire part. Sorry. Flip books. Flip books are basic. Oh wait 1 second. Let me just set this back to normal. Flip books are one of the most interesting things in all of Roblox. And right now you can see I have a flipbook layout. There's a 2x2, 4x4, 8x8, and some things that you require for flipbooks. The thing that you require for flipbooks is that it has to be a sprite sheet, and 2, it has to be 1024 by 1024 pixels. This is for some reason 1024 by 1024, so I can set this to this. It'll look pretty ugly. And if I do this one shot, yeah. Let me actually do this with compatible flipbook. Let me just get an ID right from there. Please don't mind that. Basically I'm gonna set it to 4x4 because that's a 4x4, and there you have it. Let me just change the color because it looks kind of ugly, not gonna lie. Now there, if I just yeah. This is your particle, it's your flipbook. Your average flipbook is gonna be, well, an animation of a particle. You can set it to 360 minus 360. It's very easy if you really looking good if you do that. If I do this, increase the rate, it looks pretty nice. Yeah, if I do 0.5, it's gonna look a bit more brighter than it's near. So I'll just set it to this, and probably this some lighter shade of orange. So it looks pretty nice. If I set this to just 1 or probably even 0, it's gonna look even better as well. So this is pretty interchangeable if you ask me. So white, because I'm racist. There, 5. It looks pretty good for now. Now, the flipbook settings. You can make the flipbook start at random stages of it. For example, that. Sorry, guys. So basically, you can make it start at a random part of the flipbook. Like you can make it start at the last frame. So like that. The one shot is one. It's like one shot basically. Then all right. Loop is self-explanatory. I set this to 16. It's gonna loop every second. Start looping every second. Set this to 32. It's gonna do twice. And if you think about it, this is kind of only useful in like auras and stuff. Not exactly useful in other things. Set this to 0.5. It looks better with a loop. 16. It's gonna look better with a loop if it isn't that clear. Now a ping pong is basically loop, except when it's done with the particle, it basically bounces back. If if the particle is played once, it'll play in reverse if there's an extra second to do it. So for example, I have 16 frame FPS for that. Set this to 2. It's gonna bounce back. See? See? If you can see it, yeah, it's just gonna bounce back into existence. Now, random, basically self-explanatory. It chooses the random particle emitter. It kind of looks glitchy. But, yeah. You can make a random even more random by doing start random. And if I do this 32, pretty self-explanatory. You know why this is so random. Anyways, yeah. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear my ugly voice, so here you go. Motion, acceleration. Now, acceleration is basically how, it basically allows you to change the trajectory of your particle emitter mid-particle emitter, mid-emission. So like if I set this to 10, it's gonna go up. Set this to lock the part, it'll go on the y-axis of the part. If I set it to like -10, it'll go down. It looks kind of like lava. If you think about it, it's very useful in particles, of course. If I set this to 25, it's gonna go on the x-axis 25, like 25 studs per second if you think about it. And yeah, it's very useful. And the only feature we need with this is varying acceleration for all of them, because I don't want only one set acceleration, I want all of them to vary. And that brings us to the last part, this part. Drag is basically how your particles are stopped in between. So for example, if I make like a 25 and a 15, you can see they're like pretty unstoppable, right? Drag basically stops them in their tracks. Lock the part is basically just locking it to the part. It's moving with the part. If I turn that off, it's not gonna move with the part. See? Pretty simple. Now you have time scale, which is pretty weird if you ask me. Basically, you can make it go into slow motion, and you cannot like double the time. For example, like 2.25 is like 4 times slow motion. And they're pretty simple, very easy to understand. Now, velocity inheritance. I do not understand anything from this. There is literally nothing I found a use for this. If I go into like velocity parallel or something, literally I've tried configuring it, I see no changes. If I go here, set this to 10 or something, no changes. I don't know what this does. Literally really mysterious to me or something like that. It's probably gonna do with something like velocity parallel or perpendicular, but in my opinion, I just don't know. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. It's 19 minutes long, very long video from me. Probably find a way to compile this into a shorter video. And yeah, it takes a long time explaining the particles. All I'm gonna say for you guys is that experiment a lot, as much as you can. I'm kind of running out of time, so that's why I'm saying it. Use your brain. That's all I'm gonna say. Remember what each of the emission properties do. Memorize them. Do whatever you can with them, and just do it. That's all I'm gonna say. Memorize it. Find flip books. Find good particle packs. Do whatever you can. Just know how it works, and that's why you're here. So you can learn how to, well, abuse particle emitters and make money. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I'm kind of running out of time, so bye.